Hello, this is Michele Knight, and this is your general October overview 2016. Now, on the 1st, Venus in Scorpio is trining Neptune in Pisces. Wow, that is an incredibly intense energy. It's all about spiritual love, and it's all about seeing things as they are. I mean, Venus in Scorpio can be quite obsessional and intense, and one can feel overwhelmed by desire. Whereas Neptune in Pisces can be almost, well, the opposite, but similar. It's like mysterious and kind of feels connections with people, even if you're not involved with them, can connect with people that you have a past life relationship with. But this overwhelming, watery vibration and trine is making us look at our personal relationships, not from a superficial level or a practical level. In fact, it might be quite difficult for you to see the real person if you're entering a new relationship, for instance, because you are swept away by what goes on within their soul. And that can be a beautiful journey, but also, as some of us know, a dangerous journey, because you're not looking at who that person is in this life. You're picking up the depths of their being and their true vibration if they haven't lived the journey that they had. But on the other hand, it can connect us to people in a way that is beautiful and unusual and different. We also have on the 6th Venus conjunct Lilith in Scorpio. We're being taken into the underworld to look at our shadow when it comes to relationships. What are your relationship patterns? What are the things that you bring to the party that you'd rather hide? What are your insecurities and vulnerabilities? The energy at the beginning of October will be taking us through that, which can be very liberating if we truly and honestly look at our own patterns in relationships. Perhaps it's a good idea to do an inventory of your past relationships and see if there's any common theme within them, or whenever you felt vulnerable in those relationships, what was it that was making you feel vulnerable? On the 7th, Mercury is joining the Jupiter party and is entering Libra. And this is a perfect opportunity for us to look at other people's points of view and to bring harmony to communication and to understand and have empathy and want to bring justice into all the situations and connections that we have. Mercury is also conjunct Jupiter, the planet of good fortune, happy days. It allows us to really have a good vibe when it comes to communicating. And then Venus is conjunct Juno in Scorpio on the 11th. Now, from the 1st to the 11th, we'll be analysing our relationships, we'll be thinking about them, we might have very intense feelings or feel an extraordinarily different vibration when it comes to love. But after the 11th, we'll all be thinking about what is real and what is true partnership. What does true partnership mean to me? If you're not into relationships, or you're celibate, or it's not your deal, then all of this can relate to your friendships and your intimate connections with people. It doesn't have to be about sex or romance. On the 15th, the Sun in Libra is opposite Uranus in Aries. That can create a little bit of kind of intensity. The unexpected could come up. Just when you're thinking that things are sorting out, suddenly there's a rise in energy of the unexpected. And it's also the beginning of a kind of personal revolution. That Uranus in Aries gives us the courage to make changes, but it can also bring people towards us that maybe don't react in the way that we're used to. With Mars conjunct Pluto on the 20th, a more intense energy takes place. In the world, that could, to be honest with you, cause problems. It's quite an angry energy. It can be about people bigging themselves up, or groups of people bigging themselves up and not wanting to back down and taking things to extremes and being very kind of dogmatic. And that's also followed by a cardinal grand cross on the 22nd, if you include Eris and Ceres. And there's a lot of emotional stuff going on around that time. Emotion versus control. And on the 23rd, the Sun enters Scorpio. We're moving into a time of depth, of hopefully allowing ourselves to think about things more deeply and to communicate more deeply as on the 25th Mercury enters Scorpio. You might find yourself having very intense conversations. Secrets may be revealed. You may be talking about things or listening or observing things in someone else and really sensing what makes them tick. But it also allows you to rise like the phoenix. If you felt that you've been overwhelmed in some way, suddenly you can express yourself. You're also able to kind of realize what's going on in your own and other people's shadow and communicate to yourself, at the very least, what you need to transform and change. You're charismatic. You have the opportunity to really connect your sexuality as well at the end of this month. And you're able, with a new moon in Scorpio, to step through some fears and come into your power. Particularly, I mean, this month ends with all that emotional stuff coming to a peak, with Sun and Mercury in Scorpio trining Neptune in Pisces on Halloween. That is going to be some day. There is, I mean, it's the most, I mean, you know, Halloween is normally when the veil is at its thinnest and we sense things more. We can be connected to loved ones that are passed over. But this Halloween is going to be properly full on. It can be sexy, it can be intense, it's certainly very psychic. I mean, you know, I'm personally going to be tuning in and seeing what messages come to me on that day, because it's unlike anything else. It's really transformational. And doors to the other side will be opening, and possibly also you'll have a deep revelation about your love life and where you need to go, but you'll be more in your power. And remember, Scorpio is also the sign of the phoenix and the eagle. Look above situations and tune in to what's going on, but most importantly, follow your intuition. This is an emotional month. It's an exciting month. It's a month where we are exploring what love means to us. Apart from that blip with the Cardinal Grand Cross and the Mars and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn, which I think could be hairy for the world, we are examining what true love means to us. I mean, Venus is entering Sagittarius on the 18th, so there may be an opportunity also to be more wild and free and adventurous and claim your power when it comes to love. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for listening, and please, if you haven't yet, it'd be great if you could subscribe, share, like, or comment. Take care. See you next week.